Okay, so let's jump right in with a quick question. Out of all the verbs you can possibly think of, run, eat, think, play, which one do you think gets used more than any other? What's the absolute king of English verbs? Yep, you got it. It's the verb to be. And I know, it doesn't really sound like a big action word, does it? But trust me, this little verb is a total powerhouse. It's what we use for basically every description, identity, and location you can think of. So, let's dive in. What makes this verb a little tricky is that it's what we call irregular. That just means it completely changes its shape depending on who or what you're talking about. We're going to break down how to use its three main forms right now: am, is, and are. The easiest way to think about the verb to be is as a simple connector. It's like a bridge or an equals sign. On one side, you have the subject, a person, a place, a thing, and on the other, you have its description. This verb just connects the two. It tells us how things are right now. So, in the present tense, the verb to be doesn't just show up as be, it has these three different forms. You can kind of think of them as a small family: am, is, and are. And just like any family, each one has a very specific job to do. Okay, this chart right here, this is the secret sauce. Seriously, think of it like a matching game. Every single subject on the left has one and only one partner on the right. If you can remember these pairs, you've pretty much cracked the code. First up, the easiest one of all, I. I always pairs with am. I am happy, I am a student. You will never, ever hear I is or I are. It's a fixed pair, a done deal. All right, next up is. This one is for any single person or thing. So he, she, or it, all of them get paired with is. He is fine. She is ready. It is new. And this also works for a single name, like Mike is tired. And finally, we have are. Are is the verb for all the plurals, like we and they. But here's the one kind of tricky part. You also always uses are. Even if you're just talking to one person, it's still you are right. We are from Germany. They are my friends. Okay, so we've got our pairs down. I am, she is, we are. Now, let's actually build some sentences. And the great news is there are only three simple formulas you need for pretty much everything: positive statements, negative statements, and questions. Just look how simple this is. For a positive sentence, it's just subject plus the verb. To make it negative, you just drop the word not right after the verb. And to ask a question, you just flip them. The verb comes first, then the subject. That's the whole magic trick right there. Let's see that negative formula in action. We start with a positive: Sally is in the park. To make it negative, we just add not right after is. So, Sally is not in the park. Of course, in a normal conversation, we'd usually squish that together and say, Sally isn't in the park. All right, so now we have the right verb forms and we have the sentence formulas. The next logical question is, what kind of information can we actually share with these? What are we connecting our subjects to? Well, it generally comes down to these three things. We use am, is, and are to connect our subject to a noun, to an adjective, or to a preposition. Basically, we use them to say what something is, what it's like, or where it is. First, we can connect it to a noun. This is how we state an identity or a role. Like that equal sign I mentioned before. I am a student is like saying I equals a student, or they are doctors. You're simply defining what the subject is. Second, and this is probably the most common use of all, we pair it with an adjective to describe a quality or a feeling. Mike is tired. She is old. It is cold outside. We say things like this all day, every day. And third, we use it with prepositions. Those little words like at, in, or from, to talk about location. She is at home. I am in my car. Or even where someone is from, like he is from Spain. Now, theory is great, but let's see how all these rules work together in a natural, back-and-forth conversation. This is really where it all clicks into place. So here's a perfect example. Someone asks, "Are you busy tonight?" See that? That's our question formula in action. The verb are comes right before the subject, you. The person is asking about a state or condition, the state of being busy. And check out the response. No, I'm not. I am free all day. This is fantastic because it uses two of our formulas. First, the negative, I'm not, which is just short for I am not. then the positive statement of the opposite condition. I am free all day. See how it flows perfectly? And here's a great example of using two different forms in the same thought. I am worried about my son. He is a little bit rude nowadays. You see? It starts with I am worried, using am for the subject I. Then it switches to he is rude, using is for the subject he. This is how you start to express more complex ideas. So that's really the core of it. We've covered the subject-verb matching rule, the 3-sentence formulas, and the 3 main ways to use them. That is genuinely all you need to start using this super important verb correctly. Here's the crucial takeaway. You have the tools now. This isn't just some boring grammar rule. It's the key to describing yourself and the entire world around you in English. So what about you? Take a moment and think about it. I am. How would you complete that sentence to describe yourself right now?